I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. You know, I've been promising you to read Ezra chapter 6. We're in what I want to refer to today as Proverb-ologist. And that is to say that you're going to become a specialist at Proverbs chapter 3 and some of the most crucial, most important aspects of anybody's life. And so we're calling it Proverb-ologist. In one of the earlier teachers, we kind of referenced the fact that we've been into 63 weeks of the book of Psalms now. Psalmologist is what we say, psalmologist, proverbologist, and servantologist. And I'm not trying to be cute or anything, but I absolutely, positively believe that you can develop your life 20% beyond where you are right now. That no matter what your age, in fact, the older you are, the more apt and capable you are of developing your life 20% beyond where you are right now. In Proverbs chapter 3, it's just a daily dose. It's just the daily medicine. It's just the daily ingredient. It's just the daily word that you need to develop yourself 20% beyond where you are right now. So stay tuned. Don't leave. This is a very important lesson. In fact, I'm clear that God has allowed Solomon to visit me by way of the Holy Spirit, that I might be able to teach the book of Proverbs. As you know, I've been teaching Proverbs now for 15 years. But if you could develop your life by 20%, let's say, for instance, that at present you're 60 years old. Well, 20% of 60 is, I think, would be what? 15, there you go again, Pastor Manny. Yeah. 20% would be, okay. This is terrible. I need to develop that. Well, let's say, for instance, you want to develop, you're 60 years old and you want to increase your life to at least 95 to 100. I believe if you do things in an exponential, if you will, calculated, graded way, 20% more added to your life would get you to 100 degrees in a breeze, 100 years old in a breeze. Now, it'll get you there in one breeze to 100 years old with good health, good days, strength. And so it's very important that you listen to me. And I'm convinced that the members of ATLAH, that do not be dismayed about your health issues. By developing your life by 20% increase, and we're going to do that through the power of what Solomon has taught us, you'll be better able to serve. And if you could perhaps move past some of the present status of your life, you could move past the thing that makes you sick. Let's say, for instance, you live in a neighborhood where there's crime or there's bad air or there's just, and so you're more likely to die. But if you could move to another neighborhood where there is good and there's less crime and there's better restaurants, better food, you're more likely to live. Well, that's what 20% will do if you can move from the present spiritual neighborhood you're in right now. Now, please listen to me. I'm going to read Ezra 6 for you today. But please listen to me. If you can move 20% to a spiritual neighborhood, now, caution, sometimes you may have to cut loose family and friends, associates, and those of a culture. And I'm going to teach you also how to, in this lesson, how to not be afraid and how to rebuke and defeat bad habits. All that's coming in the lesson today. All that's coming. All that's coming. But I want to encourage you to move to a spiritual 20% better neighborhood spiritually in your life. And you don't have to leave your present address or your community, your neighborhood, but spiritually you're going to move. Please listen to me. This is very important because you want length of days and you want long life. You want favor. You want all those things that Solomon promises that we're going to get. So now, having said that, let me ask the engineer to bring up, first of all, I'm going to bring up Proverbs, and after that, I'm going to read, I told you I'm going to read Ezra 6, I'm going to read it. But I have been in Proverbs 3 Proverbs chapter 3 for 15 years. And what it has done to my life is phenomenal. I could write an encyclopedia about the growth, about the if you will, contact with God, access to God. His name is Jesus, through prayer, the divine protection. Now, the Lord hasn't moved me out of Harlem because this is the place he wants to come. Jesus wants to move into Harlem himself. It's called ATLAH. I said it's called ATLAH. Jesus is planning to move here himself on his last and second coming, or second and last coming. But it's Proverbs chapter 3 that I want to help you to understand, will help you develop your life spiritually 20%. And by that, spiritually, I mean economically, financially, health-wise, otherwise, a 20% increase. And here is the key. Proverbs chapter 3. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. These are the commandments of God, and Solomon is writing. For length, now if you want to have long life, length of days and long life, you know, I didn't have the time to do a full study today because a lot of things are going on. As you very well know, I'm getting ready now to go into court as a lawyer against 9 other lawyers, a jury, and a judge. And so I'm preparing myself to grow by at least 30 to 40% to meet that obligation. So I got a lot on my so-called assignment plate today, but I'm good to go. But I was thinking about, and I didn't do the research, Moses was one of the last persons in the Bible that lived at least 120 years. Moses was 40 years first in Egypt, 40 years first in the wilderness, and 40 years in the wilderness with the children of Israel, 120 years all total. What I wanted to do research on in terms of length of days. Now, length of days, Solomon writes, length of days and long life is that you have good, strong days that are healthy days, and a long life means lots of years and peace within those years, even in the midst of a storm. That Moses was one of the last. He lived longer than David. Moses lived longer than David. He lived longer than Solomon. So I'm trying to see if he's the last of those who crossed over into 120 years of living. I'll have to check that out. But that's what you want. And by the way, if you can move from your present status right now physically, you could also probably dump some of your sicknesses. That's right. You would probably be sick because of your present status in life. And your life is shortened by the fact that you live in a particular spiritual place. I'll come back to that. You want to increase. So you're going to become a Proverb-ologist. Remember, I told you that you're going to become a specialist at mastering long life and length of days. All right. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Whatever you do, tell yourself the truth. Whatever you do, don't start deluding, and lying to yourself. You got to be out your mind. Just make sure, even if you don't tell anybody else the truth, don't lie to yourself. And whatever you do, don't lie to Almighty God. And if you lie to yourself, you're literally lying to your soul. Tell yourself the truth. And if you don't know the truth, come hear Pastor Manning preach, and he'll preach a sermon, I guarantee you, that will tell you the truth about yourself. He don't even know your name. You sit up in the church, Pastor Manning don't know your name. But if you come, he'll preach the truth. Now, you may not like it. Anyway, verse 4, so shalt thou find favor. Now, that's what you want. You want favor. You want people to just like you sight unseen. You want people to, the moment you walk in the room, it doesn't matter whether you're black or white or chartreuse, you want people to like you, want to give to you. You want people, but when people see you, they don't even know who you are, but they want to do things for you. They want to give to you. They want to support you. Now, of course, you can have your enemies. There's no doubt about that. But you don't want to just have all enemies or indifferent people. You want to find favor and good understanding. So you want to become a Proverb-ologist is what you want to do. I'm going to come back to that. And good understanding, the sight of God and man, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I was praying this morning, and I told the Lord, I said, I'm going in that courtroom down there on Foley Square in the Southern District, U.S. District Court, Southern District, right down there where Donald Trump and everybody is at, in the court section of area of New York City, the Southern District. I'm going down there in that federal court building. I'm going down there, and I'm going to stand up in that courtroom before that judge and before those 9 lawyers. We're going to sit at a table. I'm going to sit there before Eric Adams, the mayor, and Robin Vance, the president of Mellon Bank. I'm going down there, and I'm going to win. I'm going to defeat them. How I'm going to do it? I told the Lord, I'm trusting you because I know you can defeat them. I can't wait to get down there in court and whip this $70 million lawsuit we got against the Mellon Bank, the city of New York. I can't wait to whip that $70 million, and I'm going all them lying lawyers with their Harvard education and wherever else they've done and whatever else they've done and all the money they make and the $2,000 an hour they charge. I'm going down there in the name of the Lord. I'm going down. I told the Lord this morning, I'm going down there. And then I told the Lord, I said, I can do this, and I can't wait to do it. I'm anxious about doing it. So trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, he shall help your paths, or help you make the right decisions. He shall direct your paths. That he's the Lord will help you make the right decision, keep you out of the wrong places. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord, depart from evil. And it shall be neighbor to thy health, rather to thy neighbor. You want to get healthy. You want to get healthy. You want to get healthy. You want to be healthy. Now, I'm doing pretty good. I'm borderline high blood. I don't have high blood pressure, but borderline. The doctor said, I was just down there to see him the other day, and he said, well, if you don't watch yourself, you can be a candidate for that. But otherwise, heart's good, beats, all that stuff is good. Cholesterol, that's good, and all of that. And he said, you're fat, you're obese, you need to lose some weight. And he said, you need to walk 2 miles a day. I said, Doc, whoa. I said, don't be calling me obese, man. I know people a whole lot fatter than me. He said, no, I'm not boasting. God knows I am not boasting. I know how fragile the health is. I know how fragile it is. I know. And I used to walk more than 2 miles a day. I'm going to start doing it again. But things are good. I told the Lord this morning, I said, you've given me a healthy body and a healthy mind, and I'm good to go. I'm going down there to that courtroom, and I came. I was talking to the Lord this morning. I'm sharing a little bit with you. But the word of God shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. And the verse 9. So you're going to become a Proverb-ologist, is that right? Now I'm going to read Ezra number 6. I said, Pastor, man, just read it, shut up. Okay, all right, I'll take that from you. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. I had a little money put aside a few years ago for retirement. I don't plan to retire. So I took as much of that money out of that retirement plan I could, and I gave it to the Lord. I just gave it to the church. It's nearly $200,000. I just gave it to the church. It wasn't much, but as I said, I'm just giving it to the Lord. I ain't retired, and I'm just going to honor the Lord with and all my increase, every time, my first fruits into my increase. And I told y'all the last time I was praying together that I'm able to, one of the reasons why I'm dealing in pretty good health these days is because I'm the pastor of people who don't give me no flack. They love me. They help me. They give when they can. They give what they can. And they follow me through thick and thin. Things they understand, things they don't understand, they just stick with Pastor Manning. Well, I don't get worried or sick. But the other thing is that I give to the Lord all that I have. I give it, my increase, and my barns are filled with plenty good people, and my presses shall burst open with new wine. So I'm going to try a new brand of wine from now on. And here's the thing the Lord showed me the other year, that my son despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. Now, that Lord showed me that for whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father, the son in whom he delighteth. The Lord showed me that my gift, my calling, was to rebuke people. I never thought about that as a gift. I know Paul in Corinthians and also in Ephesians, he lists the gifts, the apostleship, the teacher, the psalmist. Paul lists all those gifts. But I didn't know that being able to chasing people, and God sent me to chasing the Hamites. And to you, it might look like an almost impossible job to turn the Hamite people around from being the kind of people they are to being the people that God, his name is Jesus, when he comes back, is going to want to come back and live among. But I know I can do it. I know I can do it. And so, first of all, I got to correct them. I got to get them out of that crazy civil rights, crazy racism, worship of black. Everything is black. Everything about black, it ain't right. Got to get them out of that and then tell them the truth that they ain't never done nothing. And the reason why they ain't never done nothing, everybody on the planet has done something except them, is because God won't let them do it. But God has sent me to anoint them that they might be able to be great builders, etc. Now, they don't want to hear that message. They want to hear, you're good, you're going to be good, and all of that. They want to hear the white man's your problem. And that's what they love to hear. They're like junkies to worshiping black and believing that the white man's holding them down. And they like, white man ain't holding black people down. God's the one holding them down. So now I wanted to be able to say that to you because, then I'm going to go through last time you and I were together, We went through, let's see now, to teach you now to specialize, in certain things, specialize in how to live long, etc. I think we went through long life, specializing in favor, and we stopped at wisdom and good understanding. When I'm come back to help you understand how to specialize in wisdom and good understanding, but I'm going to finally read Ezra 6, because if I don't read it now, I ain't going to never read it. You're going to find a couple of good things in Ezra 6 that he's going to during the day of the Passover, during the week of the Passover, and that's why I want to read it, because we're in the week of the Holy Week now. So, Mr. Engineer, please bring up Ezra number 6, and let me start my reading, I think, at verse 13. If you could do that, it's where I want to get started. And what we then finally can get this. Ezra and Nehemiah, I have told the engineer, Captain Elijah, over the next few weeks, while I'm going to be studying law, I'm going to be reading the laws, and I'm going to be taking some time off to play and rebroadcast all of the Ezra and Nehemiah teachings, because people need to see that Ezra was the second richest man that ever walked on planet Earth, because God gave him all that gold and all that silver, all that badger skin dyed red, all that purple, if you will, wool, and the cedar wood, the shittim wood, the gold loops, and the cups, and the seraphims, and all that Solomon once had as his. Nebuchadnezzar took it to Babylon. And then God gave it to Ezra, and Ezra went back and built the temple, rebuilt the temple that Solomon built, because Nebuchadnezzar had torn it down 70 years earlier. It's mighty. The Lord knows I've been teaching the Bible for 40 years, and I'll tell you the truth. I am myself impressed with Ezra and Nehemiah. But at any rate, so verse 13 of Ezra, we'll pick up the reading right here. It says that in this verse, that then Tataniah, the governor on the side of the Euphrates River, and Sheth-Bozenah and their companions, according to that which Darius the king had sent, so they did speedily. Because now these two creeps were saying to Ezra, who told you to build this temple? And who gave you the permission to do it? They were just little old, tin horn, if you will, governors, but they didn't have much power, not like Darius or Cyrus in Babylon. Verse 14, and the elders of the Jews build, and they prospered through the prophesying. Now, Haggai, if you know Haggai and the prophet in the book, and Zechariah, the son of Edu, and they build and finished it according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the commandment of Cyrus and Darius and Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, which was in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And the children of Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the rest of the children of the captivity kept the dedication of this house of God with joy, and offered on the dedication this house of God 100 bullocks and 100 rams and 100 lambs for a sin offering. For all Israel, 12 he-goats, and according to the number of the tribes. And they set the priests in their divisions and the Levites in their courses for the service of God, which is at Jerusalem, as written in the book of Moses. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover. And this is the verse I want to point up, because we're in the season of the Passover now. Actually, right here and now, we're in the season of the Passover. It's going to be 2 days from now, which will be in our day, Thursday. And then after Thursday, the reason why Jesus, well, not the reason why Jesus, but Jesus was crucified because he came down from the north country into Jerusalem to keep the Passover. Everybody had to make it from Jerusalem, for wherever you lived in Israel, to Jerusalem for the Passover. He came for the Passover. He rode into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. Well, a few days later, the Passover is when he kept the Passover. And after that, night of the Passover, the next day he was crucified. And the children of the captivity, that's one had been in Babylon, kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the first month. Now, the first month is called Nisan in the Jewish tongue. And so they kept it on the 14th day. So we're looking now, today, it's going to be this month. The month of April in the Jewish calendar is called Nisan. Now, they kept it on the 14th day, but I think this is the 4th, 5th, it'll be the 6th day this year, but the calendar is kind of, from biblical times to present. Verse 20, for the priests and the Levites were purified together. All of them were pure and killed the Passover for all the children of the captivity and for their brethren, their priests. And so now let me say this to you as well, that the Passover, the theology behind the Passover goes all the way back to the night in Egypt, where God told the elders, and Moses told the elders to kill a lamb of the first year without spot or without blemish, and sprinkle the blood of the lamb on the doorpost. And when the death angel comes that night, if he sees the blood of the lamb on the doorpost, he will pass over that house. In any house that does not have the blood of the lamb, he was going to kill the firstborn. The firstborn was going to kill. Now listen, it's very careful. It's very important as we become Proverb-ologists and developing our lives 20% beyond where we are right now. And you're going to love, if you got to listen to the teachings that I've done on Ezra and Nehemiah going back a month now, at least 3 times. You're going to start talking in tongues. I'm telling you that, and walk in the flow, and walk in water rather. But the Passover, so that Jesus went to Jerusalem for the express purpose of being the lamb that will be killed, and his blood will cause the death to pass over us in a spiritual sense. That's why he went. That's why he went not in the middle of the month or the middle of the year, some other year, the month of Adar. No, Jesus went to Jerusalem, rode in on that donkey on Palm Sunday, so he could be the lamb that will be slain without spot and without blemish. And that's that. So he becomes the Passover for all of us. So we have to understand. And a lot of times, I see people trying to make Jesus black and saying he was black and he was this and he was. No, Jesus was the suffering lamb of the Jewish tradition of the Passover, going all the way back to Egypt, where the Jewish religion got started. Both the Passover got started in Egypt, and the resurrection theology got started. Now, the pyramids were built for the purpose of the resurrection of the pharaohs. And the sister Lynn White down there in Alabama, Lynette White rather, that teaching, she wanted to get the whole teaching. I did a teaching a couple of years ago about the power. The Jewish religion really got started in Egypt with the Passover. And it's this most sacred, most holy day in the Jewish religion is the Passover. And the resurrection also got started, which happens after the Passover, got started in Egypt as well with the pyramids, because the pyramids were built for the purpose that the Pharaoh was put in a tomb and then he was resurrected. That's not my teaching today, but it's a teaching I did a couple of years ago, but it's still valid. So you have to understand, Jesus is the Passover lamb. His blood covers us from or at least cleanses us of our sins. We have to understand that about Jesus. So they killed the Passover, all the children of the captivity, and for their brethren, the priests, and for themselves. So that's why Jesus was crucified. He is the Passover lamb. And that's why he was in town for that particular day. Now, I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to take a bit of a break, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to go through the other 4 or 5 segments of Proverb-ologist and Servantologist that's going to help you increase your life by 20%. We're living in a dangerous time. You need the covering of God. Have you seen what's going on in this tribulation period? Have you seen what's going on politically? Have you seen what's going on with all the trannies and drag queens and all of the school shootings and all of the violence? Have you seen and that's just what you were able to see. Lord knows there's a whole lot more that you don't know. So you need to be covering the Word of God. You need, so this is very important that we become Proverb-ologists. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive today. But I'm going to let you, I'm very, very, very godly proud of our school. Some of our students had a career day the other day here in the school. And some of the young people made a declaration about what they're going to do when they grow up. So I'm just very proud, like a proud father. And I've been running this school now for nearly 30 years. And so some of the young people had something to say. I'm going to let you listen to that, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to wrap up this lesson today about your 20% increase.
When I grow up, I want to be a surgeon. I want to be a surgeon to help people. I want to be a doctor because I want to help people get well.
I would like to be a soccer player because that is my passion. I want to grow up and open my own restaurant.
Okay.
I want to own my own bakery when I get older and travel, so I would like to branch out. Hopefully one of my bakeries is stationed in France and Italy.
I'm the president of Mali, and I would like to make Mali a better place.
Today, I'm an orthopedic, but in the future, I would like to own a hospital on my own.
In the future, I would like to be a civil engineer. For those of you who don't know, it falls under the branch of architecture.
I'm a designer, so I can make good clothes for everybody. And I'll make my own clothes, so I won't have to buy other people's clothes.
I'm a fashion designer, and I like to create clothing that makes people happy.
I overlook employees' work, what they're doing, where they're going. In international business, you travel all over the world, doing business deals, advertising your company. I do that.
What I want to be as an engineer, specifically, I want to run a company that's half technical engineering and the other half would be structural engineering. A video designer imagines almost everything about a game, including its plots, characters, visual designs, and layout.
I want to be a linguist because I want to learn different languages and just translate for different people.
Be a technician because it will be a fun experience and it will be a lot of fun.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Firefighter.
Why do you want to be a firefighter?
Because they put out fires
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A fireman.
Why do you want to be a firefighter?
Because they got fire. I don't know. Artist when I grow up.
Why do you want to be an artist?
So I can make beautiful pictures.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a cooker.
Okay, you want to be a cook? Why do you want to be a cook?
Because I can cook stuff.
Broadway critic, as I said, what a critic is. Broadway, yeah, I go to the show, watch it. I read the playbill. It's over there. It's a book, and it has information about what the play is about.
belongs to the Lord. Yes,
All right, so it's Holy Week, everybody, and we're going to be in worship on this Friday at 12 noon for the 7 sayings from the cross, or the 7 last words, that is commonly known. And then, of course, at 7 o'clock on Sunday morning will be the sunrise worship service as well. And so we, of course, are enjoying this biblical festive time. But on the other side of the river is some very tumultuous times that are tribulation type times, and they're very difficult. But God has set me in order to make you proverb-ologists. Now, I'm not trying to be cute or fancy with my words or anything like that. I'm quite serious, and I'm using the term proverb-ologist because if you obey the Proverbs, chapter 3 in particular, you're going to be a person of wisdom and of good understanding. God's going to help you make every right decision. And you're going to find favor with God and with man. You're going to be healthy. You're going to have length of days. I don't care how sick you are now. If you can increase your life by 20%, you can decrease your sickness by maybe 70%. Are you following what I'm saying? If you can increase your life spiritually by 20%, you can decrease the sickness that you have right now by 80%. That means it'll just all be gone. It's very important that you hear what I'm saying. It's very important. And so I have called you proverbologist because I want to teach you how to specialize in the things of Proverb chapter 3. As a cardiologist specializes in the heart. As a urologist, it specializes in a lot of problems that men have. You follow. And so I want to teach you to become a proverbologist in specializing in the key and important aspects of your life to give God, his name is Jesus, the glory. So last time you and I were together, I taught you how to be a specialist in developing long life. We went through that. I'm going to move right on. And then I taught you on how to develop favor, how to just be liked by people. Now, you're going to have enemies, there's no doubt, but that's not what I'm teaching you. You want to have favor with God and with, David had a lot of enemies, but the thing that was key is that he had favor with God and with man. So what I'm going to do now is move to number 3 of your proverbologist lesson here today, and to teach you how to have wisdom and good understanding. You need to be able to learn how to think clearly. Now, one of the things that wisdom is one thing. Let me put it to you this way, write this down. That wisdom is just knowing the right things to do, or knowing that you can find the right things to do at the right moment. That's wisdom. Wisdom stands on the street corner and calls out to its people or to its adherents every day. And even if you don't know, but you believe that wisdom will assist you. You believe that wisdom will assist you. Wisdom. And then once you have demonstrated once wisdom has assisted you in an area of decision making or life that you have not encountered before, you will remember that, you will store it away, and you will use it time and time and time again. And it can be interchangeable with other items that come up in your life where you can apply that same principle of wisdom to be able to help you to move from one place to the other. You see. And so that wisdom helps you. For instance, I was teaching you about patience and about the people that are close to you, give them more patience. The people that are far from you, give them less patience. But understanding helps you to begin to look at the fact that there are things that God does not want you to do, and you need to understand it. There are things that God does not want you to do. Now, sometimes the Lord will actually have to hog tie you. Now, hog ties are where they use down there in North Carolina when they're talking about them Poland China hogs. Y'all know about Poland China? Yeah, well, you ain't never been to Shannon, North Carolina. You ain't never been to Rennet either, or Panthers Ford, or Bowie, or Red Springs. But when sometimes the Lord has to hog tie you, that is to say that there are things that you were going to do them, but God stopped you from doing them. And you have to have the understanding to know that I shouldn't be doing this. And I'm thankful, I want to do it, but I know I shouldn't be doing it. Let's say, for instance, you're a 19-year-old boy and you want to do something crazy. Let's say you want to argue with your father. You want to hit your father. No, we don't want to hear from you today. You want to hear from you want to fight your father. You want to disobey your father, right? And see, understanding is God will stop you and you'll say, as bad as I want to do it, I want to tell my father to take a long walk off it because he don't know what he's talking about. But understanding will teach you to say, but no, that is not the right thing to do. As much as I passionately want to do it, it's wrong. That's understanding. And all that getting, my brother, get understanding. And you'll do that. Solomon writes, my son, be not wise in thine own understanding. Be not wise in thy own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him. And that if you follow the law of God, you'll have good favor. You have favor and good understanding with God and with man. So that's number 3. I'm coming back to that one, though. Number 4 is making right decisions. Let me just back up a couple. There'll be times as well where no matter how bad you wanted to do something, you thought if you didn't do it, your life would come to an end. But you are wise enough to know that I should not do this. I just shouldn't do it. No understanding is you want to do it and you do it, you know it's wrong and you do it. You ain't got no understanding. In fact, just the opposite of wisdom is a fool. And you do it. You know you shouldn't do it, but you do it anyhow. You are a fool and you have no understanding. You see? So I'll clear that up now. No point in waiting to come back to that a little bit later on. Making right decisions. Now, I preached in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 4 and 5, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Well, if you can just interpret the word direct your paths, now you're going to become a proverb-ologist. You're going to specialize in good understanding, long life. You're going to specialize in favor. You're going to specialize in wisdom. And you're going to specialize in making good decisions. And overall, you're going to specialize by increasing your life by 20%. That sickness that you have will decrease by 80%. You'll be 80% less sick when you increase your life by 20% as a proverbologist. Now, I'm using the word proverbologist not because I'm trying to be cute or fancy or this, that, and the other, or so I show I got some kind of education. That ain't what I'm trying to do. Not at all. And I pray that you know that I'm not. But you want to be able to make the right decisions. And if you trust God, if you trust the Lord, if you trust him, he will help you make the right decisions. And my friends, I'll tell you, there's times in your days when you're going to need to make 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10 decisions per day. And one bad decision, just one bad decision can destroy you for the rest of your life. Just one bad decision can destroy you for the rest of your life. I'm telling you. So you want to make the right decisions. Now, you're going to make some bad ones, and you probably have made some bad ones, but as of today and as of this teaching, you want to trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. He shall help you make the right decisions, because you don't want to make no more bad ones. You're going to become a proverb-ologist. You're going to become a right decision-ologist. You're going to become a wisdom and understanding-ologist. You're going to become a long life and health of days-ologist. You're going to become a favor-ologist. These are the kinds of things that are going to be a part of the essence of who you are, if not the dominance of who you are. Not just the essence, but the dominance of who you are. And we're going to learn this from Solomon. And he's, as you know, the world's wisest man. So that was number what? Number 4. Number 5, we got 7 of them here. Number 5 is humble prayer defeating fear and bad habits. Now, I have to tell you that the fear is something that is common, and it's something can be used in a positive way if you fear God. And the more you fear God, the least you will fear man. The more you fear God, you could just flip the switch. Fear God, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. The more you fear God, the more you fear him, the less you will fear any man. You know, I'm out here now. I've been out here for the Lord. I've been out here for 40 years. I have. I've been out here for 40 years talking about, I ain't got nobody else I can go to. I can't go to the president. You know, and I've been out here with the Lord. If God don't see me through, I ain't going to make it. I know that. If the Lord don't fight the battle, I ain't going to win. If the Lord don't keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Elder Butler, you hear that? The watchman waketh but in vain. I know that. Say, Pastor Manley, why don't you get some of the politicians and everybody, cool down on some of that talk. You always talking about black folk ain't never done nothing. Cool down on that, man. Get with some of the politicians, pick up some of that money they got and pick up some of that power that they got and everything and have yourself a good life right here on earth. Man, you done lost your mind. You better get away from me. You done lost your mind. All I have is the Lord. I fear him. Lord knows if God removes just one hair from my head, forget about it. I'm going to tell you something. Now I'm going to talk to you. If you want to learn how to break bad habits and fear God and not man, if the Lord, and I ain't got a lot of, well, I got a lot of hair, but I just got a big head. I took a picture with Emerald the other day. I was sitting in the chair. You know Emerald, the little baby, 6-month-old baby, Emerald, the 6-month-old baby. I took a picture with her the other day. She was on my chest. I said, doggone, I got a big head. Pastor, man, you got a big head. I do. So I got a lot of hair. I just don't have enough hair to cover all my head. So, but if the Lord took just one hair off my head, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what. I need the Lord. I'm telling you something. I'm going to tell you what the Lord loves. I'm scared of him. Now I'm scared if the Lord, I know if the Lord withdraws from me, I'm toast. It's all over with. It's all over with. I know that. So now I ain't scared of no man. I don't care who you are. You can be president. You can be Uncle Dent. You can be Mr. Dent. You can be Dent Trent. I ain't scared of you. No, sir. It's the Lord. And you have to have a humble prayer, defeating fear and bad habits. Listen, I didn't finish up. I got 2 more. I got number 6 and number 7 I got to do, but I don't have time to do it right now. I'm coming back to this Proverb-ologist. I finally read Ezra number 6, but I got to go.